everybody. We have a guest today. We have Anniedi. Why don't you tell us something about yourself?
Thank you, Mary. My name is Anniedi. I am a Chief Swagger Officer.
Oh my gosh, that's the best title I ever heard.
That is my title. I chose that title because I have not always had my swagger, okay? Yes. I do recall, when I was at the height of my career as a corporate executive working in the health and wellness field, I was experiencing a lot of career success, but personally, wellness-wise, like my health was at an all-time low. And I just remember, one day walking past my reflection in the mirror and seeing that I was missing my sparkle. I think up until that point, I'd had like heart palpitations, I'd had like, terrible knee pain, like my hair is falling out in clumps, all the signs that maybe traditionally would have been burnout. But for me, I just knew that moment when I recognized I didn't recognize myself, something had to shift, right? So I remember getting laid off from that dream job, and I realized at that point, I had a choice to make. I was kind of at a crossroads. I could continue down that churn and burn path, or I could choose a new path and take all of the energy that I've been pouring into the well-being of others and pour that back into me and figure out how to come back to life again. And so once I found my swagger, I got my sparkle back, I was like, I need to teach other people how to do this. So that's really how I ended up becoming an accidental entrepreneur, launching my business, and really working with both organizations and individuals to support busy professionals in reclaiming their health, sparking their joy, and rocking their careers. So that's a little bit
I love it. So you basically have a sparkle school. That's basically it, right?
Well, it's technically called Swagger School, but
Swagger School. Yeah, either one is like amazing. The people are probably knocking down the doors, right? Mm-hmm. That is so important. Thank you for your work. That's really amazing. So I did hear someone say, well, the opposite of joy isn't sadness. The opposite of joy is just apathy. Like you said, just not being your whole person, just not caring, like not caring to the level that you did, like not feeling your whole self. And it's not okay with me that, the work culture, where people end up like that, being in certain work cultures. And that's why Brain Fresh is here. And that's why you're here. I hear, the Swagger School. So tell me, what do you offer? What have you seen with your clients?
First, I love your mission at Brain Fresh. I love the idea that we get to redefine our ways of working. And I think for me, what I realized was that I was always defining success in a very narrowly defined paradigm, right? Like it was about productivity. It was about a prestigious job title or firm, right? That I was hiding behind that. I never really put myself on the agenda, right? Mm-hmm. Able to honor what it was that really lit me up outside of, being in service to others. And so when I was thinking about ways to support organizations, I really wanted to be responsive to the emerging needs of employees and employers, and for folks running their own businesses, that recognizing that the old models and ways of working and being and doing were no longer serving us, largely in part due to a pandemic, right? Like shifting that business was being done, but also it was requiring us not to just think about disrupting our industries, but also disrupting ourselves. So I always say, like, I'm a trendsetter. I got laid off before everyone started quitting their jobs. But I think this great resignation, right? It is a new call to action for us to think about ways in which we can create more human-centered solutions, create more holistic solutions that actually cultivate the whole person. And so even in my model, when we define wellness, we don't just define it narrowly in terms of like physical health, for example. We have 9 essentials of total health. And some of those essentials actually include things that you wouldn't consider being part of wellness, things like career satisfaction, things like meaningful purpose, things like playful living or financial stability, things that we typically would not categorize in the definition of wellness or well-being. We're totally tackling those right head on. And so definitely, I think for organizations who are thinking about out of the box ways to solve these problems, I wanted them to understand that self-care is a team sport, right? It's not an individual problem. Burnout, therefore, has to be a collective solution, right? It has to be an organizational solution that would actually tend to the needs of both those individual players, but also the organization at large. And so I think those types of conversations really helped leaders who are navigating through times of uncertainty to have a common language, have a shared language, and have a framework and a path to really achieve, right, the ability to bring some of those new solutions to the market. So that's what we've been up to. And I think there's no perfect time to do this work than now.
Right, 100%. Well, good work. Oh my gosh, I love the playful living. That's fun. One of my last guests said, just schedule goof off time. You have to have goof off time, right? Like playful living is a great way to say it. And I think that's the great news about a lot of this burnout protection or burnout shields or inverse of burnout, however you want to think about it. A lot of it is actually really positive activities, which is wonderful, right? So a lot of it is like connecting with others, like you said, playful living. Like these are good stuff, like, eating really great whole foods, and like this is great stuff, like movement, that's fun. So, I think sometimes when people think of change, you think like, oh, it's gonna be hard. But actually this change, a lot of it is, like you said, considering the whole person, what we all need is a lot of positive stuff that's fun. It's actually, it's like get rid of the sweat and trying to be someone else, like be your whole self and have fun and get your swagger. Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Work on my swagger. Yeah.
Exactly. And it's like when we understand our swagger, that is our authentic leadership style, what makes it unique, our special sauce, only then can we more effectively communicate our value. Like people get shocked when I tackle issues of burnout or issues of wellness with leadership development or things like negotiation, right? I tell, for the entrepreneurs I work with, I say the first thing I say is let's figure out how to price effectively, right? Think about how to set rates that actually allow you to take a day off or to have a vacation or to take a sabbatical, things that we just don't think of as being in the realm of wellness actually matter, right? The policies that we set for ourselves, but also our teams. When I'm working with corporations, we're talking about flexible work arrangements, right? How do you engage a virtual and remote team? So a lot of times we think in such a narrow bucket about what brings joy for us and for our teams, but we really need to be thinking outside of the box and thinking holistically to say, how do we design a world that actually centers our well-being? What would that look like? Can we reimagine that? And then once we have a
dream,
then we can build it.
Yeah. I love it. Disrupt. Yeah, I love that. You're the trendsetter, the disruptor. Yeah, I agree with you 100%. It's not okay. The way I have 4 kids, and I don't want to leave them in workforces that, or anyone. I don't want to leave anyone in workforces that don't value just our human needs, to have magical thinking that we don't have this. I saw a award that one of the community business groups was giving, and it was called service over self. So, and I thought, we keep honoring this, give until you're sick. I don't it doesn't say that in the award, but service over self. I get it. You help others 100%. It's part of our wellness, honestly, but not over our self-care and our self. So I just think the messages are a bit, they're not true to our physiologic needs. And so I think we, like you're saying, I love what you're saying. It's just that holistic wellness. Bring it to the heart of leadership development, workforce planning, etc. And then we can actually create these new cultures that honestly value that. I think that would be amazing.
I love that you use the word culture, Mary, because I think most of us haven't traditionally seen this done well. For example, as a child of immigrants, I remember growing up, and if you're not being productive, you're, what are you doing? It's right. The idea that we can power through or push through. Play becomes an afterthought. It feels frivolous, right? I was one of 4, right? Grew up one of 4 sisters. I never saw my mom put herself first, right? It was actually the experience of losing her to cancer and watching her go through the health system that really sparked my desire to say, how can I reform it? So when we haven't seen models of this done well, we're almost being asked to build something that the mind has never even envisioned. And so that's why I think really looking outside of our normal routines, outside of our normal go-to experts on this space, right? Thinking outside of the mold is going to be really, really critical to kind of build for the future of workforce well-being, not what we've experienced in the past, not what we're facing today, but what we want the future to look like, what you want, like, the future to look like in this area. So I think there's a lot.
First of all, I'm very sorry what you went through with your mom. And I'm sure that just honors her to say, like, that wasn't okay, what you saw, and you're going to dream of a new future for others and other families that are going through something similar, which is wonderful. So I think we'll leave it at that. We're just going to dream of and envision a new future and build the building blocks and take people to a new place, because it's a new day. It's a new day. Thank you for all that you do and sharing your time with us.
Thank you, Mary. Thank you so much.
And we'll put all your links in the show notes so everybody could, tap into all the services that you offer, both for entrepreneurs and for businesses that are trying to enhance their cultures and really, find the space for holistic wellness for all their employees. That's amazing.
Absolutely. If you'd love to learn more, you're welcome to visit us at swaggerschool.com. We'd love to chat.
Come on, everybody. Best name ever. Swaggerschool.com. All right. Stay well.
Thank you.
Thank you.